and welcome back to another video. Today we're playing a different kind of game. Usually I play like Battlegrounds, maybe some pressure I did last time. But today we're going to be playing a more of a crafting combat game more than anything. We're going to be playing a game called Cubination, where you take cubes, say like the blue cube, you throw this on top of the red cube, and you get a different cube, and it works differently with other things. Like, for example, I could take this dirt cube, put it on a wood cube, and make a pack cube. So yeah. Now I am playing this because I was asked to do the video on it by the owner. So if you would like to, please go check out the game. I'll leave it linked in the description. And yeah, I'm really excited to play this because I've been wanting to play this game on recording for a while. But yeah, so basically the start of the game is you start off by taking your cubes, you put it in this thing over here. This will be a researcher. Drop it in the researcher, it'll research every combination that can be made with the cube, but it won't show you like what it turns into. It'll just be like the combinations together. Like say if I put this with a iron, I get a throwable cube. It shows it for me because I've researched a lot of this stuff before, but yeah. So this is I can make a throwable cube. And if you're wondering how would you get the iron and all this other stuff like the coil and the metal wall, it all starts with a dirt brick. And when you do with dirt brick, you put it over here in this giant furnace structure, and it gives you copper, gold, and sometimes iron, but iron's always in deficiency. But yeah. Another good thing is always start out with making one of these things. This is called a pack cube, and what it does when I put it in the researcher is it makes your inventory size be to 2. Like right now I have just the single slot, I can only hold 1 cube at a time, can't hold 2. But if I use this, you now have 2 inventory space, and now I can hold 2 blocks at the same time. I can double stack the wood, or I can just hold 2 dirt at a time, which actually is really helpful because it means I can smelt twice as fast. And there we go. We got our first pieces of iron. So I'm going to make that thing that we saw with the red cube. I'm going to make the throwable cube, as it's called. So I throw the iron bar on top of the red cube. It gives me a throwable cube, and this is like the ranged weapon that this is like the starter range weapon for you that you can get. And then now I'm going to take, say, a white cube, and if I throw this on any ore, really, any ore that isn't an ingot, it'll turn into a cube variant. And if I grab, let's say, grab another white cube and put it with a golden one, like a golden cube, self-explanatory, put these together, and I get probably one of the more important cubes in the game. This is called the Forge Cube, and it literally makes, like, every single important thing in the entire game. Can make weapons, it can make armor, it can make resources for even more complex builds like the plate cube, wealth cube, the steel cubes. It makes just way more reinforced items, and it's really helpful. But the first thing I'm going to make, because it's very helpful, I'm going to make a speed coil, just because this will help me give me a little extra movement speed so I can pick up stuff. And also to use your offhand in this game, you just have to press the F key and it'll switch it to your offhand or and vice versa. So yeah, if you guys ever will play this game, which I truly hope you do, this game is fun, especially with friends. But yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy this because this is gonna be like a multi-episode thing. I'm gonna try to make this a little bit of a series. I know how I am with series and not really following through, but I'll try my hardest on this because this game is actually enjoyable to play and isn't too grindy. Although late game gets really grindy. But that's for future videos. That's for future Doge. But yeah. So now that we have the surplus of iron and gold, I'm going to grab even more white cubes. You can drop white cubes on there and this and that. Put these together. I need one more. And I'm gonna make a here it is. I'm gonna make a plate cube. Now this seems like it's a normal thing. It just looks like the diamond steel texture that you find on Roblox models. But if you put it together with the earlier mentioned pack cube, it'll make the container cube. And if you guys can guess, it will increase my inventory even more by another slot. So now I have 3 inventory space, which just means I can collect even more dirt, but I don't really see much of it. So I might have to do a secret, not really that secret, but a strategy to help out. Remember these little magenta cubes earlier? I made this to start off the video, and it's actually for a really specific purpose, is because if we research it, we'll get all the crafting recipes and such, but we'll also get the status that it gives creation, which temporarily increases the spawning rate of cubes. Now, really, that wouldn't seem like too big of an issue since stuff spawns at like a regular rate, like a cube every few seconds. But like when you're running out of dirt or just any other like naturally spawning resource, you can just do this. Just spam use. See how it has the blue number next to it? I mean, that's its cooldown. It'll just start spawning like all the cubes, and since every cube has a single spawn limit, you can spawn a specific cube if you are out of it. So like in later game, you'd be spawning like infinite range of dirt to give you infinite resources, which is just going to be extra helpful because you're going to need a lot of it for this game. But yeah, while I do that, I'm going to work on getting a stockpile up because you're going to need a lot of materials for the first areas to fight because you need to get armor, you need to get weaponry that is stable enough to fight the first boss, which is going to be over there. The first boss is going to be not too difficult, but it's definitely going to be rough with the limited armor we're going to have.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Alright, now with a bunch of ores in our pocket in the backlog, we can now start working on making our first weapon. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a few of these white cubes, we're going to put them on gold, then iron, but we're not going to use the extra one, just to save that one for later. We're going to put the iron cube on the gold cube to make that forged cube as aforementioned. Put the regular iron ingot on it, not a cubed iron, put a regular one on it, and it makes a basic linked sword. Which you wouldn't think, it does 25 damage, and I think the guy over there has like 2k, so this by itself isn't really going to do much damage. So, how can we do to make it better? Well, if we take the white cube, put it on a block of gold, make it into a block of gold, I mean, and then you put the sword on the block of gold, you'll get a golden sword, which is already upgraded to 50 damage, and it has a little less durability because it's down to 472 when it was at like 630. But this isn't even like the best sword. Like if I were to grab this ice cube and drop it onto the sword, it lessens the damage, but now it is an ice sword, so it's super effective against certain things, including the boss. So now I leave this here, and if I were to grab, let's say, another ice cube, and this one, and I put one ice cube into the furnace, this gives us water, because if you melt ice, it turns into water, and then we take the ice cube and put it onto the water, it gives us a glacier cube, which if we research it, it can turn into a few things, but one of the things we want it to turn into is the frost sword. These see glacier cube, ice sword equals the frost sword. We already have the ice sword. We have a 35 damage short sword that does some extra ice damage as it ticks on, so it's like a damage over time thing. Now this is probably the best weapon you can get if you don't do any of the extra islands to the left and to the right of this center one, but yeah, I'm going to be using this for the sake of this video. And now for armor, it's just as simple as, well, if you're just one person starting a lobby, which I really hope you are playing with friends, there's this crate over here that once you craft a weapon of any kind, it can be the sword or it can be this throwable cube, you can start wailing at this crate, and it'll start giving, once you break it down to 0, as you can see the durability of the crate is in the center of my screen. When you break it down, it'll give you your starter armor, like the speed coil I made, give you chest plate, the full iron set. This is the basic set, most basic set in the entire game, and as you can see by the blue number indicated down here, it gives us 64 defense. And it also gives us, like, I don't know, a pack cube and an armor cube, which to make an armor cube, you just take a gold and a copper block, and you make it into that, and boom, armor cube. You can then figure out how to make the leggings and other blocks necessary for it. So yeah, so we start off with the frost sword on the throwable cube, and we probably should make one other thing, because as good as just the speed coil is, if you go into a boss fight, one thing you always have to bring is some healing. And if we take the green cube, put it in the researcher, we can make, I think, a better source of healing, or just healing at all, because these things by themselves heal 10 by them Like, yeah, these just stay heal 10, plus 10. So if I were to use this, I have 250 at the bottom. If I were to take damage, it would only heal 10 of the 250, which is barely even, I think that's 4%? 4, no. I'm bad at math. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like 4, 3%. So yeah, and then so what we want to do is we want to combine it with the plate cube that we made earlier and not make it into an orange cube. But yeah, so combine it with that plate cube that we've had earlier, like so. And then we get a healer cube. Now this by itself, it heals 20, so it's like 8% now. But if we were to drop it down again and grab 3 more white cubes. So basically, if you want to make anything, like with ore blocks and stuff, you're going to need a bunch of white cubes, and I'll show you later how you can get a bunch of them. So if you put a forge cube, normally you would put an iron cube to make a plate cube, but if you put a golden cube, you get a wealth cube. And if you put the wealth cube on top of the healer cube, you get a regen cube. And what this does, instead of giving you one single heal, when you click it, it'll give you a burst of healing that will stay for a few seconds and it'll heal you for 15 a tick according to the little thing. But we're not quite done with it yet. Let me get some more cubes and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so now we have both a wealth cube and a plate cube, and what these two will do together is put them on top of one another, they combine into this golden plate cube. Now if you make more glacier ice that we had earlier, and we set it to the side for now, we're not quite going to use it yet. We take a rock and another rock, we put a rock into the furnace, it becomes a molten sphere. If you put the molten sphere down, put rock on it, it becomes a lava cube. Now, normally you cool lava with like overtime or like with water or something, but actually in this game you drop it into here and it gives you a cool lava cube. Now these two together will make one of the more important blocks in the entire game. Like half the late game crafts will need this. It'll make an enricher, and we actually need another wealth cube. Hold on. Alright, so now we have the wealth cube, and now put the wealth cube on the enricher, it'll make the full enrichment cube. And if we were to take the enrichment cube along with a regen cube and set them on top of each other, we can make the enriched regen cube. Now this is probably the best healing you can get in a cube alone, as once you click it, it'll give you a bigger radius than the regen cube, and also more healing. As you can see, I'm getting 20 per tick. Now if we drop this and make a coil, which is as simple as gold, iron, and a copper block, then we can make a coil, drop that onto the regen cube, and now we have an enriched regen coil, which combines all of the healing capabilities of the regen into a holdable coil, so you have portable healing wherever you go. Now if we drop this and we throw our speed coil on it, we can make a enriched fusion coil, or a regen fusion coil, to give you both healing and your speed, so you don't have to miss out on either, which is extremely helpful, because if I had to pick, I'd definitely pick speed, and that would probably end up killing me. So, be thankful we have that. So now that we're properly geared, we have our frost sword, we have our throwable cube. Now we probably can go defeat that boss, but as you can see, this thing here is kind of open. We can't quite get to there quite yet because it's a massive fall into the void, but that's where we have to fill the bridge in. Now, filling the bridge is as simple as dropping any normal cube in. Like if I drop this rock cube, it'll extend it by, I don't know, 3 studs. But if I were to drop, let's say, this speed coil, which is a tier 2 compared to a tier 0 rock, then we drop this in here, it'll expand it even further. Like that was at least a couple dozen studs. So basically, the higher the tier, the further it'll go away. Like basically, the tier 1s will go just about that far. Normally, you would use as like a bunch of like low tiers and like stuff like that to make this stuff, but really, I have found like the best, like kind of easy craft, but it's also high enough tier to where it like fills the bridge in within a few crafts. So it's as simple as making more swords. And if you guys remember, it's as simple as 1 gold, an iron cube, 1 golden iron cube, and 1 iron ingot. all those three items together, along with the two white cubes, makes a sword. Remember this sword, the basic sword. This is a tier 3 item. And that realistically only costs 3 ores to make and a few white cubes. And this is a tier 3 item. And tier 3 items go about that far. And I've done it before. It takes 6 tier 3 items, so 6 swords to make this thing grow all the way to the first boss platform and really any other platforms around here. So for early game bridge building, I definitely recommend swords because if anything, if you have an overflow, you can make a bunch of extra swords whenever you get more blocks later. I wish I could hide my helmet, but oh well. Yeah, get a bunch of blocks later. Yeah. So definitely make the sword if you're gonna be bridging in this game because it's the most efficient way. And now that I've said that, I gotta make a bunch of swords. I will be right back. Sorry for all the cut. Alright, now I know it just looks like he fell on his face, but now that boss is viewable, and that right there is the cube destroyer. Now before I fight him, I have to go back and get my sword and throwable cube, which should be right here. Alright, and now we're ready. I should probably grab more things, but I think I can kill him with just these two items. Actually, I know what I can do. I'm going to make a quick shield, because it's always good to have a shield in confrontations like this. So I'm going to quickly make an armor cube, an any ore cube, and make a small shield. It's simple. It's good enough for me. Alright. Always good to have all your bases checked. We have close range, which is the sword. We have long range, which is the impact throwable cube, and we have the iron shield for defense and also a push, so we can push him away if we need to. Alright. We are ready to fight Cube Destroyer. Go. Alright. Doing that already got rid of a lot of his health, which shouldn't be too bad. And his attacks are pretty easy to dodge. So, ow. Yeah, this guy is pretty easy to kill. You can kind of just circle around him, do a few things. He occasionally heals, which is kind of annoying, but only thing you gotta look out for is whenever his light blue leg starts glowing, that means he's gonna do a stomp, and that stomp can push you back, and it does hurt a lot when you fall off the void, just like over 33% of your health, and if you fall in the void. It doesn't outright kill you, which thank God, but it will put a slight dent into your health. And look, even the guard's helping out. Look at him. He's so strong. Ah! Alright, that should be it for this guy. And he is down. Alright, we gotta get a bunch of cubes for that. Got 3 gems for beating this boss. Yeah. Now we got some gems, which I've already had a few, but now I got even more gems, and now we have all of his boss drops. I just wasn't even use my shield one to that fight. Oh well. And now we have a bunch of spikes. We have the multi-cube, which is a tier 4 block that's kind of useless, but it's still there. We have a bunch of colored cubes because we took off all of his colored body parts, basically, and just turn them into cubes. That's how most bosses are. Anyway, so now we go back. We'll grab some of these spikes, because these spikes will turn into even better armor than what we currently have, which we all know that better armor is always good, especially when fighting the stronger bosses. Like we have the one guy over there, and we have the other worse, tougher guy over there, which we are definitely going to be beating that guy before the end of the video, because he is a cakewalk. But yeah, as you can see, we had just beaten the Cube Destroyer. He was a star and a half. He wasn't that bad. He was a little tedious, but he wasn't that bad. Next, we have the regular Brew, who is a 1-star, a full 1-star. And then we have Cyber Raider, and then this Magnetizer is just a machine, which I actually might go see because that machine is a pretty important machine. Yeah, now we have the spikes. Now if we were to make more plate cubes real quick. Alright, now that we have a plate cube, we can put the plate cube onto the spike. We get a spiked cube. Now the spiked cube, if you put it into the researcher, it'll show us that it can be used with a armor piece such as iron, the iron shield, all the iron armor, and if we drop it onto it, it'll make spiked iron, just like that. Which this is tougher and more durable than iron armor. Like only one piece is boosting me up to 81 defense when I was at 64. So that is a pretty hefty increase. I'm gonna make a bunch more plate cubes. You need one plate cube per set, and I only made one for the purpose of showing, so I'm gonna have to make 3 more for a helmet, pants, and boots. Yeah, I'll take a second. Now we have our 3 plate cubes. And we go 1, 2, 3 spikes. 1, 2, 2, 3 merges, and there we go. Now we can just drop our helmets, our pants, and our boots. And now we put them on top of the cubes. We get spiked helmet, we get spiked boots, and we get spiked pants. Now all this together, upgrades are 64 all the way up to 150. So that's like almost 300% better, pretty sure. So yeah, definitely a worthwhile upgrade, especially since that boss is going to be much, much tougher. Oh boy, I'm already excited for him. Alright, so now we probably should upgrade some of our gear. I mean, a basic throwable cube that does 15 damage a piece isn't going to do much, so let's go ahead and throw this into the researcher, and we can make it better using a gunpowder cube. We can make an explosive cube. Now, you might be asking, how on earth do you get gunpowder? Well, if you remember, took the ice cube, put it into the furnace, we get a water cube, but put the water cube into the furnace, we get steam. Now, steam is a really interesting block because if you put it in here, it can be mixed with a few things, like we turned into sand if you make it with a rock cube, and if we do that right here, it'll make sand. Now, if you put sand in the researcher, it'll tell you that it can be smelted. And if we smelt the sand, it becomes the gunpowder that we need. Just that simple. Just as simple as making sand and smelting it. Why that doesn't make glass? I have no clue. But there, now we have the throwable cube and the explosive cube, or the gunpowder cube, and that makes the explosive cube. It's just 40 damage. It kind of is like a timed thing. Like if I throw it out, it'll take a second before it explodes. It's 40 damage. It's another tier 3 item. Has 6 ammo. Kind of great, right? Well, if we were to make another one of the enricher cubes, like we had earlier, then we can turn it into a way more deadly weapon. Alright, there we go. Simple as that. And now we have our enrichment cube, and if we find the explosive cube again, you put this on the explosive cube, we get an impact cube, which does 60 damage and has 4 bullets, but instead of being a timed thing, if I were to throw it, it instantly explodes on contact with the ground and with enemies. And we're gonna need this cube because it does a bunch of AoE since it's an explosive. That'd be extremely helpful. And now we kind of want to... I think we're actually good to fight him. I kind of wish I had a better sword, but you can't really get much better swords until... well, he's actually going to drop the sword, so it's not going to be that bad. But yeah, we have our frost sword in hand, we have our impact cube, and we have our shield. We've got to make swords. Oh boy, I might have to do some dirt farming. Alright, now that we have our piles restocked, let's go make the swords now. Right, and that should be every single sword. We just gotta transport it over to the bridge. Alright, and before I put the last sword in, I'm gonna leave it right there because I gotta go grab all my stuff. And I can't put it in yet because if I do, then the boss will spawn, and the boss has a structure behind it that infinitely spawns a bunch of baddies. So I gotta basically wait a little bit before I can do that. Alright, so then we drop our sword away from the ED hole and we put the regular sword in, and now we're ready to fight this guy who for some reason slipped on the ice, I guess. Alright, Yeah, and then he'll spawn these guys, which is why I made the impact cube, because these guys died to it in 2 shots, and they also drop swords for. It's just important later for more bridge building. But yeah, so now we can start attacking the brute. Ugh. Now this guy has, I think that's ow, 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 ow. He's a big sword that does a lot of damage, is what I was gonna say. But it is luckily really easy to get away from if you're not a mouth breather like me. Ugh, like it does. It's actually scary because there's a lot of knockback. Which is probably the more scary part of that. Mm. I want him getting closer to the base because then my dummy can help out with the clones. We gotta be careful about that. Because now I'm bleeding, so now I'm gonna be taking damage every few seconds. It's gonna be pretty significant. Alright. This boss is a lot more engaging than the last one. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, wow, I've taken a lot of damage. Okay, hold on. If you ever hear that the clashing, that just means that they are just parrying my sword and not taking damage is absolutely perfect in this. This guy's hat is just floating in the air for some reason. Ow, 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 ow. Is my guy ever gonna help? Hello? Ah! Oh, there we go. Okay, I said yell at him and he came over here. Ow. I don't think it's gonna be that much though. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, this guy's the one that applies bleed to me. Ow. Oh, shoot. Lift him up in the air a little bit with the explosives. Alright, alright, alright. Now that he is dead, we get our 5 gems. But now we have to go defeat the house over here. Oh no, they killed our thingy. And they're currently killing our crystal. I don't think I ever mentioned it, but the crystal is like the most important thing on your island. If it falls, then you cannot respawn. Basically, it's just like a Bed Wars bed. Like if it breaks, the whole world ends, and you can't do anything except pay their diamonds up here to revive it. But luckily, they give you free revive for your first time dying, so that's fun if you're new to this game, like apparently me, because I almost got pushed off 3 times. I'll let the guy deal with the noobs while I go for the raider tent. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention there are like Minecraft criticals. Like if you jump up and hit it while falling, you do 61 damage, and it scales accordingly to the other weapons. Yeah, which is better for clearing out houses like this because the house is stationary, so you don't have to do anything extra for it. Ow, ow, ow. Love it. These guys can stop parrying me. They're destroying my sword. My sword's already at half durability. Yeah, I'm actually really glad these guys are dropping their weapons because it just means I don't have to make more swords for the future. Ow. It's gotta break down this end. Ow, ow. I just almost blew myself off the map. Alright, and that's that done. Now that that's broken, you can get to the next two islands. Which I'm actually probably going to go to that corner island over there because now I want to get some better gear for the final boss, which is going to be the Cyber Brute. So now I have to regroup. How many swords did they drop, by the way? They dropped one, two, three, four. Wait, is that six? Oh my gosh, that is six. Okay, that basically means that we don't have to spend a dime to get to the next area. But yeah. So that boss dropped this sword, which is the Iron Great Sword. As you can see, it does 70 damage. It's like a giant cleave of a weapon. So, pretty sure, is it faster if you have nothing else? No, it's not. It's the same speed. So, yeah, whenever you get that sword, just swing it like it is. It's pretty big sword, so it can basically cleave through a massive horde. Because if you swing it and then spin, it has like a cleave effect where if it's still an active hitbox, so you can still do damage with it. Especially if you do the wide one like this, that'll hit all the enemies that haven't been tagged with it already. Yeah, now our frost sword's low, and now I gotta take a bunch of these plate cubes. Which thank God, I have to drop so much of plate cubes. It's gonna be really helpful for the future. And speaking of future, it's gonna be really helpful now because I can make the next inventory upgrade. Normally you'd make this like as soon as freaking possible, but since I am lazy, I decided not to, and I'm gonna make it now that I have the motivation to. Did not mean to make a steel barricade. Because yeah, I forget that this game is not just like a survival combat game. It also is like a survival base building game because you can like make this stuff. You can make it bigger. Like if I drop it on the plate, you can make a giant wall. It'll protect your entire base from raiders from coming from that direction. But I say save because metal isn't that strong. It only has like 1,000 or so HP. 2,000 for this wall. I would say save and wait till you can get like concrete in the future because concrete is a very, very, very strong resource. But yeah. So now if we drop the container cube, which increases our backpack size to 3, onto the wealth cube, we get the backpack cube, which increases it to 4. As you can see, now I have 4 inventory space. Now I can hold 4 items. I can hold this dirt cube, I can hold this dirt cube, I can hold this dirt cube, I can hold the shield. Put the dirt cube into the flames, and the shield is just going to be there, I guess. Yeah, now we can smell even faster, we can clear out that furnace even faster, and we can hold even more swords at a time for bridge building. Which is going to be extremely helpful. But yeah, I'm going to go to the corner island, and we're going to see what's over there. Because there could be a tower, there could be a crate, there could be, I don't know, Jesus Christ standing right there. But we'll have to see whenever we get there. I will start actually doing that right now, actually, because we just realized that we have all the swords needed. We don't have to make swords. So if I grab this, the clubs don't really matter because they're only tier 1s. They'd be as good as placing a light cube in there. So yeah, if we do all these swords, we do sword 1, sword 2, sword 3. Go back, grab these other 2 swords. Sword 4, 5, and then 6. That spawns a four tall tower. Alright. So now what that means is that at the bottom there's going to be a lever and that lowers down some stairs to start the whole thing, but I am currently holding the weaponry, so I will have to be right back just for that. Alright, I'm ready. This time I'm just rocking the Great Iron Sword because it's a good cleave and it does a lot of damage to a bunch of enemies at once. I'm also going to probably bring an extra swiftness cube because I can stack the swiftness and go a little bit faster. But yeah, so now we have the Great Sword, we have the Impact Cube, we have the Iron Shield if things get dicey. This will be perfect. This is going to be unstoppable. Yeah, so now we pull down this lever and that will drop some stairs to the left of us. And yeah, and then it'll spawn a bunch of enemies. Just a few basic ones for the first few floors. But there's going to be this guy right here. This guy's a nice noob, and he does a lot of extra damage, has a lot of extra health. Because he can sometimes spawn... Well, he has a more higher chance to spawn with a better weapon than all these guys. They spawn with clubs and swords, and a raid is coming. It's another thing about this game is that occasionally you'll get raided from certain islands. Like this time I got raided from this one by 5 noobs. And that can happen a lot. Whenever you finish an island, there's a chance for it to start a raid, and it's all based on a timer. But yeah. Luckily, the first few raids, especially in the first main area, is definitely not that hard. Like everything that spawns within this first like little 3x3 of islands called the first ring, they're always easy. They spawn with like a few regular noobs, maybe a knight here or two, but they don't do much. Like I just broke that thing with one swing and a few impact cubes. But yeah, towers definitely are easy, especially in the later stages. We actually got our first fire sword, which actually is pretty important because if I were to put this on the frost sword that I had earlier, I can make an even better weapon. And by default, this is just kind of better than the frost sword because it has lingering damage. Yeah, these guys actually dropped a lot of swords, which is really helpful because the more swords, the more I don't have to do. All right, third floor. We got a knight. We have, and then just a bunch of noobs. Oh, one of them dropped a present. Hold on. Actually, I think this is. Hello. Oh, okay. I got confused for a second. All right, I think this is actually one of the new things. Christmas gift number 2. Do I probably should open it now. Oh, just free gems? Sure. Actually, yeah, sure. I actually completely forgot that they added the Christmas stuff. I guess, well, I forgot they added Christmas presents. I knew it was like Christmas in game because everyone has like hats and whatnot. I didn't know they dropped gifts. It's actually huge. You can get free gems just by killing guys, which is really nice actually. Thank the dev for that. But yeah. If you guys really want to try this game for yourself, I will link both the active Discord, the active wiki for you guys to check out. It's also a Discord server, and the link to the game, of course, because this game's pretty fun. Try it out with friends. Try it out by yourself. There's the tutorial is pretty long, but you can always skip it. But yeah. So anyway, when we open up the crate, we get a bunch of random loot. This time it was just a plate cube and a caltrop, which caltrops are like little rogue spikes. You put them on the floor and they'll walk over them. They'll do 10 damage a tick. It also will cause bleeding. So yeah, not bad, not bad. For a first ring tower, not bad. I would have liked a steel cube, but beggars can't be choosers. Actually, instead of getting this iron shield, I'm gonna pick up that flame sword so I can upgrade my short sword. Here it is. All right. Yeah, this thing is pretty beefy. It's as big as the flame brigade, so it's pretty strong. I almost just walked completely off the edge. Yeah, this thing swings pretty fast. It does 30 damage a swing, and it also inflicts fire, which I think it's 10 fire for the flame sword. Yeah, it's gonna be 10 fire a second for like 5 or so seconds. So realistically, every swing has the potential to do 80 damage if they even survive that long. But instead, if you put the flame sword and the frost sword together, we get a frostfire sword, which does ice, fire, and it does just 40 damage by base, so it's better than both the frost sword and the fire sword. So yeah, all around a good upgrade. Still less damage than this, but I think this does more damage just over time. The caltrop's gonna stay here. It's gonna be defending right here, I guess. So yeah, we got the frostfire sword, which is gonna be the next weapon of choice for that guy. And we have, yeah, that's all we really got. Which is nice, because they're going to need it. Because, oh my gosh, these guys are going to start getting a lot more difficult. And the reason I left behind the shield is because if I just make, I don't know, like do this, put it on the plate cube, get a heavy iron shield, and grab one of the spikes that Cube Destroyer dropped, and grab it, put down a plate cube as well. I'm just going to upgrade the shield, basically. And put this, because now that's a heavy iron shield. Put this on here, the spiked cube. Put the spiked cube on the heavy iron shield, and now it's a heavy spiked iron shield, which looks absolutely menacing. Not gonna lie, like this thing is pretty insane. And then just has more durability. It can block more things, and yeah, and it has a stronger push. I think that's all that shields do, really. Shields are kind of underwhelming in this game, but they're still cool. Still cool to have them. Makes me think you care about the combat. Anyway, but yeah, I think now. I don't know. Am I ready for Cyber? I think I could put off Cyber. Nah, let's just do it. Let's go do Cyber. Cyber sounds like fun. I'm gonna just do a 1 round of dirt because I'm curious. Nothing. All right, let's go kill Cyber. Well, first I have to like go grab all the swords from the tower because I. Alright, we're good, we're good. I just had a bit of a raid. Alright. Got sword, golden sword, plank cube for some reason. And then we have some more that I left over there. I was kind of scared because when that raid started, I was just right there on the bridge, so I had to like worry a little bit, but yeah, we're fine, we're fine. The core is fine. We're fine. Alright. We got the basic, get the full iron save, and I'm not gonna be using this for cyber because it's kind of bad, honestly. Like Iron Shield itself only has like 653 in it. I think their ability goes off like how much damage they do. So if you hold up their shield and they hit the shield, they'll do the regular damage just as your ability instead of your actual health. All right. Then we have the 5 swords. I need one more. Okay, there it is. Okay. Then we have the 5 swords that we need. Luckily, Cypher doesn't actually spawn with like stuff behind him, so we don't have to worry about breaking something else. Just start here, go here, and then put this here. That slightly went in there. I thought it wasn't gonna work for a second. Right. This hiddenness, and I probably can just grab her stuff too and just fight him. Because we don't really need the other stuff. Oops, I almost just put the frost sword in the place of sacrifice. Yeah, so put this here. And this here. Actually, I'm gonna go grab the great sword. Just in case. Because while he is napping, I'm gonna go do that. Because I do not want to risk losing the world already. And I'm going to grab the heavy shield just because. Just because. It's always good because this guy spawns tougher clones than the other guy did. Alright, we got Cyber. First we start with the magazine dump of impacts, and then we start. Yeah, this thing does 40 a hit, does ice so it slows, and it does 10 fire per tick, which is going to be helpful. This guy is tanky compared to Cube Destroyer, and also strong compared to Raider damage-wise. I just haven't gotten hit yet. Yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to grab the heavy sword. Oh, shoot. That's also why I wanted to grab the heavy sword, because all these guys do a bunch of damage, and they're really tanky. Ow. But I do kind of want them to drop their baton, if they can. Okay, that guy almost just lit me up. Alright, we're good. Ooh, I didn't see that because of this move. Right, we're doing fine, we're doing fine. Below 50, below 50. Oh, I fell off. Oh no. Alright, we're good, we're good, we're good. Stop, heal, stop and heal, stop and heal. Oh, whoa, okay. Ah, alright. Oh, I just took a. Right, I thought I blew up one of the batons. Alright, we're good. As soon as this guy dies, they're all gonna die anyway, so beeline. I fell off again. Oh no, I might die. Oh, okay. Oh no, they're still alive. They are still alive. I thought they would die with them, but I guess not. I'm working with 60 health right now. Okay, they're dead. They're dead. Okay. So now we got a Cyber Club, which this thing's kind of small. Does 2 swing damage, does 70 damage. So basically it's as good as the Iron Greatsword. But the Great Cyber Club is way bigger. Like compared to this, it's like literally, I think it's 3 times the size. Yeah, and then this does, I think it's literally a faster swing or the same speed swing, but it does 100 instead of 70, so it's basically just a better Iron Greatsword overall, which is definitely necessary. And then, yeah, and now that we have the first ring bosses done, which is all Cyber Cube, Raider Brute, and Cyber Raider, now we have Pyro, Lithos, and the Godfather. Now we have those to beat, and that unlocks the second ring, as you can see around us. Now there's the Pyro platform, there is the Lithos platform, and then there is the Godfather platform. Now, as much as I want to do those guys today, I think that's going to be it for this video. And if you guys want to see more of Cube Combination, make sure to tell me down in the comments. I would love to. Like the video, subscribe if you're new here and are a part of the Cubination community. And speaking of Cubination, go check it out in the description. Go join the Discord server. Go join the Wiki server. All that. It's all pretty helpful resources if you're just starting out as well. Play with a friend. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.